So this morning, we're delighted to welcome our first speaker. Her name is Evelyn Preston from Gas Networks Ireland, and Gas Networks Ireland have very kindly sponsored today's event. You're very welcome, Evelyn. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Bernie. How are you?
Great. I'll hand it over to yourself, Evelyn.
Great. Thanks, Bernie. My name is Evelyn Preston. I'm the SME Sales and Connections Manager in Gas Networks Ireland. So in my area, we look after gas connections for businesses that use under 1 million kilowatt hours of electricity per annum. So this is your local restaurants, schools, takeaways, small hotels, nursing homes. And just before I kick off this morning, I would like to firstly thank Bernie, and thanks for bringing us all together virtually here this morning. And also the work that you and the Chamber have done, in particular over the last year. You've really given a voice to regional businesses, which is just so important in the current crisis we find ourselves in. And I think secondly, it's really important to acknowledge how resilient the business community have been and during the crisis. You know, whether you've been offering frontline services, seeking solutions, or looking at different ways to do business. So I just hope everyone enjoys today's events and gets a very good overview and information on the supports and resources available to you in your business. I'm just going to share my screen here to bring up the presentation. So just bear with me 1 second. Oh, need to log in, apologies. So I just kick off here. So just in terms of what I'd like to take you through today, during my presentation, I would very much like to give you an overview of Ireland's gas networks and its relevance and importance for businesses in both Laois, the Midlands, and in Ireland Inc. And also how the gas network is powering, supporting and delivering for our customers and Ireland's current energy needs, while we also look to innovate our network to ensure we have a carbon neutral gas network by 2050. So in line with this, I would like to give you an overview on our Vision 2050 roadmap and the key elements contained within that, which is renewable gas, hydrogen and CNG. So just to give you an overview of the gas network. We in Gas Networks operate and maintain the gas network. This is comprised of the gas pipes under the ground and the associated infrastructure above ground. The gas pipeline is over 14,000 kilometres in length and is one of the most modern and safe gas networks in the world. We ensure over 700,000 homes and businesses receive a safe, efficient and secure supply of natural gas 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. It's a resilient network, and with the major weather events like we've seen in recent years, we have experienced no outage on the network. It also offers diversity through supplying energy for power gen, heat and transport. And we in Gas Networks are guardians of this 2.6 billion asset owned by you, the people of Ireland. We aim to deliver these and our services in a sustainable manner. So just want to touch on the network within Laois. It's also really significant and important to Laois in the Midlands. There's over 220 kilometres of gas distribution pipeline in Laois, serving towns such as Portarlington, Killinard, Stradbally, Emo and Portlaoise. There's over 8,000 homes and over 300 businesses in Laois availing of the benefits of natural gas. Having key utilities like the gas network and infrastructure in Laois is vital for attracting businesses to the area and foreign direct investment, such as greenfield manufacturing, and industries such as Glanbia. During the current pandemic, we in Gas Networks of Ireland have worked to ensure security of supply, prioritise connection and support our customers in the communities in which we operate. We know how important it is for businesses and homes to have affordable, sustainable and a secure supply of energy. So at all times, and in particular during the current pandemic, we have ensured we have robust and tested procedures in place to maintain the security of the gas supply and ensure any suspension of activities have not and will not impact on the nation's gas supply. The majority of the employees within Gas Network have been working remotely since last March, myself included. However, we have our frontline workers who have been there to ensure the gas keeps flowing, responding to any emergencies, and ensuring we meet the needs of our vulnerable and essential service customers. When the pandemic kicked off in March last year, we that we prioritise connections to be delivered. In this, we ensured that we delivered those connections as quickly as possible. Examples of this are, we've got a connection into Tana Hospital within a number of weeks where they were looking to provide an overflow facility to help them deal with the COVID pandemic. Also Shoremount Nursing Home and Ferrybank Nursing Home, which are offering essential backup rooms and beds for the HSE. We've also installed gas connections for frontline healthcare workers who moved homes or went into alternative accommodation to protect their families, and also for the elderly and the sick in our society. We were also very much focused on the difficulty the pandemic would cause for businesses, particularly the hospitality, and the individuals and the communities in which we operate. We worked with the Commission for Regulation of Utilities at the onset to alleviate some of financial pressures on the SMEs. We also teamed up with a number of local radio stations, Midlands 103 being one of them, to offer support to local businesses and also to acknowledge those people who've gone above and beyond within the community. So in this, we ran a campaign, Everyday Heroes, where people in the community could nominate their everyday hero. The person that was nominated each day won a voucher to be used in a local restaurant or hotel. And this was just our I suppose, small way in showing support for the community, but also for the hospitality sector, which we know has been severely hit during the crisis. We've also partnered with educational leaders such as Midland Science and Junior Achievement Ireland to provide children with engaging homeschool activities, and also provided laptops for some schools to give to their students for which they could do work on. We also partnered with Age Action to provide a wide range of in-home support services. Our employees have volunteered on the phone lines and also volunteered to help older people to learn digital skills to enable them to keep in contact with their families during the pandemic. So just before we jump in to look at the projects Gas Network Ireland are focused on to achieve a carbon neutral gas network by 2050, it's important to look at Ireland's current energy usage and understand the pivotal role natural gas plays in supporting Ireland's economy. Natural gas is of key strategic importance to Ireland, given it makes up 1/3 of Ireland's primary energy mix. Not a lot of people are aware of this, but natural gas powers 51% of Ireland's electricity, and at times this can be as much as 80%. This makes natural gas an ideal complement to renewable electricity, ensuring always on supply when the wind isn't blowing and the sun isn't shining. Therefore, the gas network has a key role to play as Ireland looks to reduce carbon emissions. So just want to touch on our Vision 2050 strategy. As we're all aware, Europe has a vision to become the first carbon neutral continent by 2050. Ireland also has a target to be a net zero carbon country by 2050. And in line with this, we in GNI have a Vision 2050 strategy in which we've outlined a very clear roadmap in how we are going to provide a net zero carbon gas network by 2050. We do acknowledge that natural gas is a fossil fuel, albeit the cleanest of fossil fuels. Therefore, as one of Ireland's leading energy utilities, we must and will lead on climate change. With this in mind, we are working to transform our vital energy network by replacing natural gas with renewable gases such as biomethane and hydrogen. We are also looking at how we can play a role in reducing transport emissions through CNG, compressed natural gas. So just to give a quick overview as to what renewable gas actually is. It's a clean, sustainable, and it's certified carbon neutral. It is nearly identical to natural gas and can be used in the same way to replace fossil fuels in electricity, industry, heating, transport, and power gen. It is made through a process called anaerobic digestion, or AD. This is where food or animal waste, grass, and other crops are combined in a tank with bacteria, which is introduced to break down the ingredients and produce the renewable gas. The gas either then directly enters the network or is transported by road to a dedicated, purpose-built injection point, such as that in Cush in County Kildare. It works in the same way as natural gas, coming into homes and businesses through existing gas infrastructure. Our goal in GNI is to develop a network of renewable gas injection points across the country. So just to give you an overview in terms of the facility in Cush. And this is Ireland's first dedicated renewable gas injection point, and it's located in County Kildare. It commenced commercial flows in May last year. And this means that locally produced carbon neutral renewable gas is now part of the regular flow onto our gas network. This renewable gas is produced at Green Gas Generation's AD facility in Nernery, County Kildare, from surplus food waste and slurry. It is then transported and enters the network at the gas injection facility in Cush. Tesco Ireland, through their partnership with Green Generation, have reduced its carbon emissions by up to 1,200 tonnes annually. Tesco do this by sending their surplus food waste to the AD in Nernery, where it's processed to produce renewable gas. It is then transported and injected into the gas network in Cush. This renewable gas powers 6 of Tesco stores in Ireland and creates a true circular economy. So just in terms of the benefits that renewable gas can offer for Ireland. When it comes to the economy, renewable gas is produced in Ireland, so it creates jobs, and it gives a real new economic opportunity for rural towns and villages. Because it's Irish, it is a secure source of energy, and we're not dependent on imports from overseas. There's also benefits for farmers. Using animal manure to create energy means that on-farm emissions can be reduced. This is particularly important in Ireland, where agriculture is a major part of our emissions challenge. Also, a byproduct of this anaerobic digestion process is a nutrient-rich digest that can replace chemical fertilizers. This is another sustainable benefit for the farmers involved and also for soil quality. As I mentioned, we're also looking at decarbonising the transport sector. Renewable gas can also be used to power heavy goods vehicles and buses. Whilst these vehicles only account for 4% of the vehicles on Ireland's roads, they do account for 30% of all emissions in the road transport sector. Compressed natural gas is a proven alternative to diesel or petrol. It can cut transport costs by 25% and also reduce emissions. Better still, however, these vehicles can achieve zero carbon transport by operating on renewable CNG. To date, Gas Network Ireland have 8 operational CNG stations, 6 of which are privately owned and 2 public stations located in Dublin Port and Cashel. We have 2 more stations that are awaiting commissioning in Ballysimon Road in Limerick and Clonshock in Dublin. And we have 7 more CNG stations in the pipeline. We are also very excited about the potential that hydrogen has in our network. Hydrogen is a colourless, odourless, flammable gas, which is carbon-free and can be reduced from renewable sources. It has the potential to complete the full decarbonisation of the gas network in addition to renewable gas. Hydrogen can be transported through our existing network. In fact, Ireland's gas network carried a blend of hydrogen in the past through Towns Gas. And while it will take us time to fully transform from natural gas today to hydrogen in the future, we have begun this journey. We have developed a purpose-built innovation centre in West Dublin, where we are assessing the impact of hydrogen on the gas network and appliances. It's important to know as well, and it's actually something that I became aware of last week, that gas boilers that are now in homes and have been installed over the last number of years are hydrogen compliant up to a blend of 20%. So the amount, of spend in terms of homes and spend, I suppose, by Ireland Inc. in terms to, look at a hydrogen and renewable gas network, isn't substantial when we already have the infrastructure there that can facilitate this. So if we look in terms of what is the future energy system for Ireland, to us, it contains an energy mix, intermittent renewables such as solar and wind, complemented by a constant supply of natural gas and renewable gas, and in time, hydrogen. This will provide a secure, reliable energy source for Ireland, in particular at times when the wind isn't blowing and the sun isn't shining. This will ensure that Ireland's energy system can react to Ireland's unpredictable climate while maintaining Ireland's continued economic growth into the future. A green, low carbon future. Thanks very much. Thanks, Bernie.
Thanks, Evelyn. Thanks very much for that really informative piece. And it's when I met yourself and Fran, actually, you were the last members I met before our first lockdown. You had just joined, and I was blown away by the innovation and, you know, the planning you're doing for the future of the economy and the decarbonisation. So that was really informative, and I'm sure lots of people probably weren't 100% familiar with what Gas Networks Ireland actually do and your plans for the future, and it really fits well in Laois, you know, with our new centre of low carbon, and Portlaoise has been designated as the first low carbon town in Ireland. So thank you very much for today, and again for your kind sponsorship of our event and moving forward as our main sponsors also. Thank you very much, Evelyn.
No, thanks, Bernie, and really appreciate the opportunity to talk today. Thank you.
Great, and if anybody would like to have a chat with Evelyn, we'll have the virtual rooms open after the event from about 12:35. Again, if you'd like to join that, please send me an email and we'll send you the link to the WonderMe software that we're using today. First time we've ever used it, so hopefully all will work well. So moving on to our next speaker, again, a very kind sponsor of today's event. We're joined by Miguel Ponce de Leon, I hope I pronounced that correctly, from TSSG. The TSSG is a Centre of Excellence for ICT Research based in Waterford on the IT campus. You're very welcome, Miguel. We haven't met in person virtually to date, but I'm really looking forward to making a trip down to visit you when all of this has moved on and we're in recovery mode.
Of course, Bernie, and you know it's reciprocal as well. Getting up to Laois is obviously quite important for me, and I mean I have been a number of times, as I'll give as part of the presentation, a little overview of my time of working with ESB Networks in Portlaoise and being part of the training centre and actually helping to bring people in from Europe to look at the things that are happening in Burnwood. Some very interesting trials happening in Portlaoise around renewable energies and everything. So, and of course, the invite for you to come down here to Waterford as well is always there.
And it's only down the road. We're in the same region, so really it's all about collaboration.
Exactly. But I mean, we've certainly connected over the last number of months, right? Even though it's been virtual.
Absolutely.
You'll never say it's easy, but look, it is possible, you know.
It's not quite the same. And you did showcase a great video there last week as a taster. And really, it got me really curious about what you actually do. Really looking forward to hearing your presentation today. And again, if anyone has any questions for Miguel, please enter them into the chat box. So I'll let you take it away there, Miguel.
Thank you very much, Bernie. And as always, looking for my presentation, right, their technology into the market. I have one example being Feed Henry, and I'll give a little case study at the end as well. So just to give you some idea of the numbers, I mean, all the activities that we look at is always by competitive tender, by the way. So it means that we always look to do contracts with government agencies, government funding both from Ireland and from Europe, currently called Horizon 20 or going towards Horizon Europe. We have 80 dedicated staff to interact with your companies in Laois. We've completed over 300 projects with industry, and we have about 750 partners across the globe. I'll explain that in a minute, but you know, it's not possible for the TSSG to know everything and have all capacities to look at innovation around software. And so a big part of, again, my role is to be able to link you with the right people, whether they be in Cork, Kerry, up in Donegal, or if they happen to be across Europe, heading towards France, Sweden, Italy, and further east. We certainly have the connections to be able to help you there. And of course, a big part, and you'll see it across the bottom line there, 150 plus peer review publications. A big part is being able to bring research knowledge that we've gained access to and to be able to share it with you here in Laois. And just to give you some idea of the focus areas that we look at. So networks and clouds, so very much we hear about the word about cloud, but what we help companies with is being able to get an understanding of what it means to maybe transition from running a computer and a server in your office underneath a desk somewhere, to be able to move that application, move that software into a cloud service and run that efficiently in a cloud service and from a cost-effective perspective. We also help companies with their mobile and IoT, which is for Internet of Things, so be able to connect small devices and small sensors and be able to display that on mobile and mobile applications. Communication services that are looking at real-time communications, the movement of data in real time across factory floors and being able to take actions based on that data. And again, helping people with software in that area. We do help companies and especially startups when it comes to services engineering. And this is about architecting new ideas. So you have a business idea, but you may not necessarily have the right technical skills to bring it forward. And what we help with here in the TSSG is essentially giving you kind of access to architects that will help you design and be able to start the early prototyping of that technology. As said earlier, we have virtual reality and augmented reality. In actual fact, we've just, by the help of Enterprise Ireland, brought a new, what we call a mixed reality lab, where companies can gain access to the latest technology. They can essentially rent it from us. You can take it on loan for a little while. You can come down to facilities when it becomes available and when we open up a little bit more. But we have like a treadmill that people can stand in, put on the virtual glasses and move into virtual spaces. And you can test your applications and test your ideas with us, which is a big part of what we offer, Bernie. And machine learning, data mining, and artificial intelligence, a big part is being able to make predictive analytics around the data that you already have. So whether it's from the shopping information that you may have within your shop, whether it's sensor information that's coming in from your factory floors, it's been able to make predictions of what may happen in the future. And we have a number of members of team that work in that area. What we also have available, would you believe, is one of Ireland's largest high-performance computer is available in Waterford. 665 teraflops. Now, if I was to go into the fine details of that, it's large, it's fairly big. But of course, you can use it for big data crunching, but even from the smallest Docker container, so the smallest web application, this is what we help companies be able to get understanding and be able to trial it for the first time. And so we have the infrastructure in order to help companies be able to do that. So just to get a little bit more detail again about the TSSG, we are what's called a technology gateway funded from Enterprise Ireland, and we are one of 15 gateways dotted across Ireland. Our specific focus is around mobile services and the activities I've just mentioned a second ago, but there are activities out of the command center in Athlone, in Kerry, the IMAR group look at intelligent manufacturing. We have the team in Kappa in Cork and also Nimbus looking at embedded systems. And it's not all just about software, by the way. We have polymer technology. We have an entity that looks at engineering materials and SEAM. If you're looking at pharmaceutical and healthcare, PMRBC down in Waterford, again, going west towards the applied biotechnology with Shannon ABC. And again, one of my roles is if your technology is outside of software, I can still help you potentially connect with a number of entities across Ireland to be able to work with you. And again, we support startups. So even you as a sole trader at the moment, and you're thinking of getting your company going, micro SMEs that are underway for the last 6 months or 3 years, and scaling SMEs that are looking at being a high potential startup. We do a number of projects with multinationals. You've seen some of the logos earlier. Connectivity-wise, again, we've been building a very significant pan-European innovation hub. which means we're linked with a lot of entities across the UK, and then across into, as I mentioned, France, Germany. And a good example, just to say, again, I mentioned Portlaoise a second ago, but I've done a project with ESB Networks where we've been involved in and around renewable energies and adding renewable energies to the core grid and keeping the grid stable. And we've brought partners in from Italy and Germany and Sweden, and they've come to Portlaoise and they've had a little look at how you connect and add sensors to solar panel installs and how they connect to the substations. And that's been a great interactive, we'll say, collaboration over the last 3 to 4 years. And again, what we help with is being able to help you and your company in Laois to reach out towards Europe if you so need. This just gives you an indication of some of the partners that we've done significant projects with over the last 15 years. Okay, I'm going to just cover maybe a little bit, hopefully get a little bit clearer about what I can help you with and with your company with here. So, you know, one of the big things is about industrial engagement, because I talk about innovation, I talk about research, and please don't be afraid with those words, because part of my role is to be able to translate the business concepts and what's happening on your business side to the types of technology that you could gain access to. And to be able to essentially link that with what way you could build out your product. So I do that as well with industry engagement, looking at a number of incubation centers, accelerator programs across Ireland. There's many clustering events, and I participate in a number of tech meetups, both originated from Cork to Dublin to Galway, and we interact obviously remotely as we do here today. Very much my job is to help ask questions of both your business and the technology you want to either add to your business or even change a product that you may already have. It's about interacting, but always making sure that there are strategic goals that meet your business needs. Again, for me, the win-win-win, it's a win for you, a win for the gateway, and also for the researcher that you're going to interact with. And that's a big part of what I do. So again, hopefully you're getting a sense that there's a large portfolio of knowledge that we have here in the TSSG that you can gain access to. But I always understand that there's an industry impact that you want to have at the end of the day. And there sometimes can be a little bit of a gap when you interact with, we'll say, academics, but I want to say that in a very positive way now, because look, we and I have worked in this area for a number of years. We have a number of processes that are able to, we'll say, catalog the research knowledge and be able to understand your business target and be able to combine this to ensure that there is an outcome that has an impact for your business. And again, what I'm going to move on to soon enough is about how we support that, because there is an element available from Enterprise Ireland for every limited company in Laois. And that is a thing called an innovation voucher. This is €5,000 that's available to you. And if you win the grant of €5,000, which is a fairly simple application form, actually, in fairness to Enterprise Ireland, they've really streamlined this. Very simple application, takes about 3 weeks to get a response. Once you get the €5,000, you can interact here with me and the team here in the TSSG. And what we will do with this first voucher is to look at whether you are thinking about an existing product and that you want to think about the strategy of where you want to go with that existing project, and particularly about the technology. That'll bring you down, if you look at the slide down the left-hand side, where we look at the network or the AR, VR strategy or the data strategy, the IoT strategy, whatever the technology may be. Or you may be thinking of a brand new product for your company. And in this case, we can bring you through what we call a sprint. And I'll give you a little bit more detail on this in a second, but a sprint is really trying to identify the customer needs, the customer pain and gains to the technology that you're looking to bring. And again, we can bring a number of researchers through to try and help you look at what are the data needs, the IoT needs, how you deploy this on the cloud, and especially how the user interface and the user design. We usually find that this is quite important in and around this particular topic, looking at how the user acts and interacts with your system and how they react to the output that it's giving. Again, for us, what we will give you through this is strategic recommendations. And what I mean by this is we're not held against one specific cloud vendor. And I will name them at the moment, which means it doesn't mean I'm completely endorsing them, although they're all brilliant. But just to say, there's Amazon Web Services out there, there's Microsoft Azure, there's Google Compute. There's also many cloud storage systems available from Irish companies as well. And what we'll offer is give you insights to a number of them to see which ones would be most appropriate for the types of technology project that you're bringing to bear to the market, and to give you a genuine assessment as to what could work best for you. Okay, so that's Innovation Voucher 1, €5,000, get to interact with the team. As it so happens, you can also gain access to a second voucher, the Voucher 2. This is again €5,000. And through this voucher, what you can do is get some more targeted research, a deep dive into the recommendations of the Voucher 1, and very much look at the technology roadmap. And what I talk about here is essentially the architecture of how you would build out your technology, how it is that you could build it out and essentially get a quote for the work in some way, shape, or form. Thinking again about an architect for a building, before you give it to a builder, you want to have it well spec'd out as best you can to know how much it would cost in the longer run. And this is what we can help you with Voucher 2. Voucher 3, again, available from Enterprise Ireland. Now this Voucher 3, which is the final voucher in the program that's available, is a €10,000 voucher, but very much 5,000 comes from Enterprise Ireland, and you as a company have to add the other €5,000. And this is where we can start to get some meat on the bone. This is where we can start to implement a demonstration. We can look at a click-through prototype for your work and really get a sense of how your new product and new service could be digitally delivered to your customers, and even allow them to minimally interact with this type of system. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you through a little overview of what it would mean to do one of these interactions with the TSSG. What would be a product innovation sprint? So what would it take? So the first thing is, and you'll get my contact details, and I know we have a meeting room afterwards, but first thing is for us to have a chat. Discuss your expectations, potentially where your business is going, where it's been before, where it's going in the future, and to see which gateway is actually suitable for your work. Is it the TSSG? Is it the command center in Athlone? Is it Nimbus? Is it WISAR? Is it IMAR? Is it one of the other ones that are appropriate? So we'll host that discussion and have a chat about it. And if we can agree that it is a part of the TSSG work, what we'll do is we'll agree the objectives that you want to achieve. What, in general terms, would you like to see come out of our interaction? We put a contract in place. There is VAT that has to be paid on these innovation vouchers, always has to be paid up front, but it's the only thing that has to be paid in regards to the innovation vouchers. So step one is problem discovery. This is where we help you either undertake the client interviews, or you've already done client interviews. These are potential clients of the product that you want to use. And what we try and do is build what's called a problem canvas. What are the pains that your clients currently have? What issues do they currently have with either a manual process or a manual service that they undertake, and now they're going to bring it into software, they're going to deploy it on the cloud, but what are their current pains? And then if they were to build and have your system, what would their gains be? What would increase their innovation having used your product in some way, shape, or form? So we build out a problem canvas. Our second step, after a week or so of looking at the problem canvas, what we'll look at is the solution discovery. We'll do some market research, as in for products and technologies that are potentially out there that do slightly similar or exactly similar types of things. We'll look to see what individual tools, if you were to combine them, would help deliver on the solution space. We'll look at state-of-the-art research and give you some pointers towards that. And obviously, it's always a two-way conversation. We brainstorm and interact where your technology and software could go to deliver a solution. Okay, after a couple of weeks of doing that, what we now next look at is the solution elaboration. Very much storyboarding, user stories. How would your users, from the step one when they get to your digital service, How would they use it? How would they interact with it? And even if it's a machine-to-machine solution, so even if you're on a factory floor and you're moving data from one machine and another machine we still have to do out the storyboarding and seeing if it's taking again a more deeper dive technical assessment to see, is a solution feasible for where you want to deploy it. Again, even slightly looking at the types of costs to seeing how feasible it would be. Step 4 is where we start to prototype. This is where we really just do an early check to see, can we wireframe up this particular solution? Can we do some click-throughs? Again, can we even do the click-throughs so that you could go back to step 1 and the people that you've done your early client interviews with to ask them for feedback, ask them for solution feedback, ask them again for pain point feedback, but it gives you something quite tangible to be able to interact with your clients and customers. Step 5 is certainly to close out the first voucher. It's to look at the final report presentation and to outline what next steps there could be for you and your business. Some next steps may be obvious ones to move the prototype towards something more technical. And there are other times where it makes better sense to do more marketing and branding and to reach out to more clients to get further information around the client interviews and the pain points. And so our final report will give you a roadmap as to what the next steps could or should be. And always recommended findings from us are genuine third party. You can see us as being an independent party working on your behalf to give you recommendations that will best suit your business. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a little sense of what it would be like to interact with us here in the TSSG. And just to kind of finally close out, this is a little overview of a case study that we've done, and particularly this is with Barry O'Sullivan out of Dragon's Den. So I would have worked with Barry a number of years ago when he was spinning out a company called AltoCloud.
On the screen there.
And Joe Smith was his CTO at the time, and is still working with Joe as it so happens. And they came to us with an idea to engage with customers online using real-time web communications. They had a good sense of where they wanted to go, but again, they just wanted to go through this technical discovery and elaboration work with us here at the TSSG. And that's what we did. Over 2 innovation vouchers, we got to a point where we were able to do some very early prototyping with some customers in the US of A. And of course, Barry and Joe were able to run with that. They were able to gain investment in and around that type of prototype. And we moved to a thing called an innovation partnership, which means that we're able to build out some bigger tech, again, supported by Enterprise Ireland. And as it so happens, AltoCloud was acquired by Genesys in 2018 in Galway. And the core engine from AltoCloud that came from that 2013, 2014 interactions is now the Genesys Predictive Engagement Program. It's a cloud-based platform, and it helps with customer engagements when they want to analyze visitors and their behaviors into e-commerce websites. And it's been able to predict outcomes from visitors trying to achieve and personalize their engagements through the website. Now, again, in truth, Barry and Joe would have done tons and tons of work to build out that company, but the seed to help them get started and get some of the prototypes was going through the program that I've just highlighted there. And this is available to you here in Laois. I'm always available to have a chat with you to be able to see if we can work with you on a similar journey. Okay, Bernie, I'm coming to a close to this particular slide set. I'm going to leave you with my contact details, and of course I'll be available later on in the platform that we're using to interconnect. So, Bernie.
Thanks very much, Miguel. That was really insightful, and for viewers watching, it really gives an insight into what you can do to help companies if they have an innovative product and they don't know where to go. I know I've already actually referred somebody to yourself. He has an idea, it's in the ICT space, and he's delighted to be able to speak to somebody that knows where the route he needs to go. So really, for anybody listening, I really encourage you to follow up.